a great pleasure to be here. It's the first such event that I've attended, and I'm not quite sure what I should say to you. It really is a tremendous pleasure and honor to be with young people who are so talented. And I thought perhaps what I can do is to tell you a little bit about my own life and point out some of the things that I learned during my career that perhaps will be useful to you as you progress. The first thing is you've started off in a good way. I didn't get my first prize until I got the Nobel Prize. I'd never had a prize before that. I also came from a relatively poor background, but nevertheless, I got very interested early on in mathematics. I had a teacher at school who used to give me little homework problems to do when I was 7, 8 years old. And I thought he was doing it to everybody, but he wasn't. He was just doing it to me. And I was very surprised to learn later on that I was the only person he was doing it to. He must have seen something in me that nobody else did. And it was good. It was a good thing. And it also points out that sometimes it's good to be lucky. I'm probably the luckiest person you have ever met. I got the Nobel Prize by making a very lucky discovery. In fact, almost everybody who wins the Nobel Prize will tell you that it was a matter of luck. They were doing research, something new came along, something they were not expecting, and it turned out to be really big. You know, every day I look at new things, I make discoveries, but most of them are tiny. They give me a lot of satisfaction. But lurking out there is always the big one, if you're lucky. And it's worthwhile looking back sometimes to think within your own lives just what happened that was lucky. Where was it that luck took you? Something else I would say, I'm rather hoping that many of you will become scientists. Even some of those who think science is a bit geeky at the moment. Maybe you like dancing, or you like singing, or you like something else. But keep your eyes open for science. Science is one of the most wonderful things going on in this world at the moment. Just look at the last 2 years. We came up with a vaccine for COVID in a remarkably short period of time. Never has man been able to make a vaccine so quickly. We came up with very good tests where we could know if we had COVID, and those same tests can be applied to other diseases too. And as a result of this, as a result of the advances and the money that was spent on basic research in science over the last 50 or 60 years, this became possible. And much more is possible. We think of the many illnesses that cause us problems, cancer and so on. All of these things, we will find either cures or we will find ways in which the effects can be ameliorated so that they don't cause you quite so much trouble. There is much going on in science at the moment. Even if you don't become a professional scientist, please read about science, find out what's going on, and I can tell you from my own perspective, science is the best thing you can do. And they pay you to do it. It's amazing. I would do everything that I do from morning till night, whether they paid me or not, because it's such fun. And that leads me to something else, that when you're really thinking about your career and what you're going to do in your life, don't just go with the thing that you're really good at. As I say, I started off being really good at math. I'm still pretty good at math, but it's not what I do professionally. Along the way, my father bought me a chemistry set, and I ended up getting interested in chemistry. I read a book when I was at university, when I was a chemist, talking about a subject called molecular biology. And after I read that book, I knew this was what I wanted to do with my life. And I would urge all of you in this audience to do plenty of reading outside of the subject that you're good at or the subject you're studying. Because you just never know when you read about something and you say, wow, that would be fantastic. That is what I want to do. And if you ever come into that moment, do it. Don't be afraid. Don't let your parents or teachers or what have you say, oh, no, you can't do that. You must do what you're really talented at. Those people who find something that they're passionate about, that they work at, and it's really their hobby, these are the people who are really satisfied in life. Don't think about money, just think about enjoying what you do. Because all of you in this room have a suitable amount of talent for what you're doing at the moment that can also be applied to other things that you do. I was going to say a little more about failure, but the previous speaker talked about failure. But I just want to say that failure is really important. I think parents often tell you, or teachers tell you, oh, you must pass all your tests. You've got to do everything perfectly. But in fact, the people who learn most in life are those who fail and then look back to see why they failed and then find a way not to do it again. I've had that happen to me on a number of occasions. I embrace failure. Failure is a good thing. I love it when students come to me and said, well, you know, I did what you asked me to do and it didn't work. I say, go back, do it again. If it still gives the same result, perhaps I will do it myself. This is how I made my Nobel Prize winning discovery. The postdoc was doing experiments I'd suggested. They didn't work. I said, let me do you. I'll show you how it's done properly. And I got the same result. And at that point, we knew that we had a big discovery on our hands. So embrace failure. Don't let it get you down. One thing that I really cannot emphasize enough is the importance of luck. And I learned how important luck was when I was about 17 and I thought I was going to be thrown out of school. And the thing I did best at the time was to play a game called billiards and snooker, and I was really good at it. I was the West of England junior champion. And I was playing in a tournament one day and I had a lucky shot. The shot I was trying to make didn't work, but another shot did work purely by chance. And then the next shot that I took, I muffed it. I missed it. It was the end of my break. And an old gentleman came up to me afterwards and he said, you know, the thing you have to learn in life, and I will pass this on to you, is that when you have a lucky break, take advantage of it. Don't let it get away from you. If you're playing tennis and the ball hits the net and just drops on the other side so your opponent can't touch it, don't take it easy on the next shot. Play harder the next shot so you take advantage of the luck that came your way. And this has paid off for me in many, many ways during the course of my life. But the luckiest thing that ever happened to me happened on September in 2001, 9/11. The plane that went into the first World Trade Tower, I was booked on that plane until 2 weeks before it took off. And I was going to a meeting in California, and the meeting got moved one day earlier. And so I took that flight on September 10th instead of 11th, and woke up in California seeing what I thought was a movie of a plane going into the World Trade Tower. That is luck. And for that reason, I'm here today. I'm able to talk to you. But I will never forget that that was my lucky break. I'm sure all of you have many lucky breaks. This is one of them. Take advantage of it. Find ways in which you can make more of your life as a result of this award. But keep your eye out for the next lucky break that's going to come your way, and make sure that you take full advantage of it. Don't let it get away. I think with that, I will stop. I wish every single one of you the very best for the future. You have a lot of talent, all of you. Make the most of it. But if something else comes along that's more interesting, that you can be more passionate about, don't hesitate to change. Don't let people tell you, oh no, you shouldn't do that. Do it. Do what is going to give you the greatest happiness in life. Thank you.